todas.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon. For your information, this event is being translated into Spanish and English. And in order to use the translation service,
El evento terá el piso em português. Neste momento, o evento está sendo transmitido também ao vivo pelos canais do YouTube da FAO e do FNDE nos idiomas português.
The event is being transmitted via YouTube in 3 languages, English, Spanish, and Portuguese. So we thank everyone, all those connected online. My name is Nachda Veloso. I am the regional coordinator of the School Meals Program for Latin America and the Caribbean, in accordance with the International Cooperation Program developed in Brazil and with the FAO, and I will act as moderator of this event. I would like to again thank all those that are participating with us in this event that commemorates 15 years of the law on school meals in Brazil. This event has been organized by the National Education Development Fund, FNDE, with the support of the South-South Cooperation Program, conducted by the Brazilian Cooperation Agency, ABC, and with the Sustainable School Meals Network for Latin America and the Caribbean, based in the UN Secretariat. The main objective of this event today is to highlight this national and international agenda and highlight the importance of this law that we are commemorating today for Brazil, for Latin American and Caribbean countries, for Africa and Asia, in other words, for all continents. We are aware that a law is the first instrument of a democratic, rules-based state, because it will uphold the pillars and will guide the roads in democracy, inequality, and in equal opportunities. And in that sense, it's worth reminding ourselves that the word law is based on the Latin legere, which and lijar in Portuguese also has to do with unity, and so we are united in order to commemorate this very relevant event. Our event involves a participation of illustrious guests from Brazil, from international entities, and from the different practitioners in different countries, and it has to do with technical trilateral cooperation developed by FNDE, ABC, and international entities such as the FAO, and centers of excellence related to the school meals program. We thank everyone that all those that are participating online at this very important moment. This will also highlight the importance of Brazilian law when it comes to the development of the national school meals program in Brazil, the PENAE, which reaches around 40 million students every day. 50 million school rations are distributed every day, and we highlight the positive impact of this Brazilian law when it comes to different countries. And this commemoration will also launch the Social Participation Program 2024 in order to highlight the importance of the school meals councils. And this refers to compliance with the law. This event will be short but very dynamic. And once again, I would like to thank everyone that is participating via YouTube, via the Centers of Excellence, and via other entities of RAE, so that you can subsequently consider that we can convey this information to other colleagues who have not been able to participate today. This event will be available in Spanish, English, and Portuguese, and it will be a historical record for this commemoration event. And in that sense, in order to inaugurate this event, with our gratitude, we will listen to the words of the ambassador of school meals in Brazil, the First Lady of Brazil, Mrs. Xancha.
Boa tarde a todos e todas. Nessa comemoração de 15 anos da Lei da Alimentação Escolar no Brasil, quero destacar a importância dessa política pública, que hoje atende 40 milhões de brasileiros e brasileiras e cerca de 85 milhões de estudantes na América Latina e Caribe. Fundamental no combate à fome e na garantia do direito humano à alimentação adequada. Como embaixadora da alimentação escolar brasileira, sigo defendendo que a garantia de refeições
as an ambassador of school meals, I defend that the guarantee of nutritious and healthy rations for boys, girls, and teenagers We thank the First Lady for her words. And in this inauguration, we now offer the floor to the President of NDE, Mrs. Fernanda Macombaiva. And we would also register our gratitude to Karine Santos and to all those that have helped with this policy, with this law, and to implement this school meals policy in Brazil. As announced, we will also launch an additional program that Fernanda will announce. And this is also an award that will be historical. I would like to thank everyone and offer you the floor so that Fernanda may feel comfortable and express her loyalty and her commitment with our program. You have the word. You have the floor. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all those that are present. This is a very important issue for us, school meals, and I would like to greet you all, Karine, our General Coordinator of our school meals program here at FNDE. I would also like to greet Daniel Balaban, Director of the Center of Excellence. Daniel is a tireless uh, um, promoter of the issue of food. I would also like to greet Plinio, who represents our Ambassador Riberes and all those from ABC, all of whom are dear colleagues of ours. Mrs. Maya Takagi, Regional Officer of the FAO, and I would also like to greet Professor Paulo de Souza and Mrs. Sandra Trinos that have sent videos. The head editor of the Institute, the unit of transfers, and I would also like to greet Carolina from the Dominican Republic, an extraordinary country. I had the opportunity of visiting that country, and also Daniel Montoya Gonçalves from Sao Tome and Principe, an extraordinary country that is always our partner. I would like to greet Renata, our support coordinator, Renata Mainenti, who is a support coordinator, and also Anderson, who is director of DIRAE. I am very happy to be with you here commemorating 15 years of the passing of this law, which is a real milestone. And I would also like to greet Daniel Balaban, our Minister Haddad, and we commemorate this law with certain specific points of this legal framework that we would like to highlight in our national school meals program. One of the biggest novelties is that all students that are enrolled in public schools in our country should have access to school meals at a universal level, and that is not that is very important. We are extremely proud, and that has to do with the single health system, SUS, that safeguards the lives of all Brazilians, especially during the pandemic. And that universalization is one of the results of our Republican Constitution of 1988, the Constitution that is in force today for our Republican Federation, and that forms a part of the structure of Brazil. In other words, the progress of this national school meals program refers to the whole basic food intake, including young people and adults. And this program is there for an effective social protection network, as mentioned by our ambassador Janja, and it is effective in all aspects of school meals, the good health of boys and girls during school age, and in order to promote healthy food intake is absolutely crucial in families and communities. And we must also highlight that our school meals, despite the progress that has been made in Brazil, and recently with this struggle that President Lula is waging, as from his first mandate, is truly a life goal in order to eradicate hunger in our country. And he is a leader in that sense. And today, we have children who attend schools in order to receive these school meals, and this law represents progress, at a progress that we know, and it is crucial. We have taken a very significant step.
We need at least a 30% transfer of resources from the FNDE for the procurement of food from family farming. Family farming, it's the big driver of food, a real food, made by us Brazilians. We have set priority on the communities, indigenous communities, Afro-descendants, or quilombolas. And that number accounts for well over 1.6 billion reais from the 2024 budget, and 5.5 billion reais for family farming. And that will contribute to the development of local communities through the creation of jobs. And that will also help encourage a delivery of fresh, diverse, and quality food to students. We've worked out in the field. We've trained those cooking those meals, and this has been successful. It is clear the life of our people cooking the food and their connection with family farming, it's possible through positive incentives having to do with our law. A recent development in the legislation has to do with women, formal, informal groups of women in family farming. They have the priority for selling food into our program. That has to do with Law 14660 last year. And when the food is procured from families, at least 50% of such procurement has to be done from women. Those are just some of the significant developments that we have had. But again, food meals program, it's a state policy that it's improving, which is evolving throughout the last 70 years of existence. This model has been replicated in many countries. But in 2023, after the decision of President Lula, the co-chair together with the France and Finland, there was a clear international recognition of the Brazilian leadership in this topic. Maybe we're late to this coalition, the international coalition, but with the decision by President Lula that together with France and Finland, we will become leaders in family, in school meals. This is due to the great results that we have had in the sustainable school feeding network. I would like to greet all our Latin American, the Caribbean friends. Nashla, our project leader, the successful project, and I wish you all success throughout these years. Yet another thing I have to emphasize, which makes me very proud, is the Center of Excellence Against Hunger of the National Food Program, which we also support. Countries in Asia and Africa. We are very proud of helping and building these school meal programs around the world. And we do this with other partners. I greet Plinio, but the ABC has been instrumental in putting together all these agencies in making school feeding in the national territories excellent, but also worldwide beyond our borders. Without these ABC, the Brazilian Cooperation Agency, it would have been impossible. With this link with the legislation, our mission is just one, guaranteeing every child in the world have access to a healthy, nutritious, and tasty food. 2024 is very important for the National Fund for Educational Development. We're 30 years we're celebrating 30 years of the CAE, which is the strength of social engagement, the follow-up of initiatives in every municipality, and being one of the main guidelines. We are an instrumental stakeholder in the execution of this public policy, which is essential for nearly 40 million students in Brazil. Today, we have 78,000 council members throughout our countries. That's why it's an honor to introduce or launch once again in this celebration of the 15 years of our law, the CAE program of social participation. This is the second edition. The CAE award has to do with social stakeholders, and we want to recognize these practices so that they are disseminated and replicated. And with that success, with our love, our joy, feeding our children, it's the best thing I've seen in my professional activity, and many and as well as many other programs in education. But we want to move ahead, move together. We have to work together. Thank you for your work. I would like to commend the FNDE team. I would like to greet all of you in this session that work with the millions of boys and girls in our country. Let's have a great event and let's move forward. Thank you. Thank you, Fernanda. We are honored. Your word, the recognition, the passion, and this launching of the prize. We have two other persons which are very special that will share their realities and their municipalities. We will have Sandra Tinos. She's the chair in Rio Claro in Sao Paulo, and Paulo Silva Souza, who is the chair of Moju in Pará. So we will watch that video, and I would like to thank them for the possibility of sharing with us in this CAA award and the commemoration. Let's watch the videos then. I'm Sandra Tinos. I'm a counselor of school feeding. I'm in Rio Claro. I'm a teacher by background. As a teacher, I was able to make a follow-up of school feeding. So I was worried about the quality of the food. Talked to school principals, discussed the possibility to improve that. Till one day, I was invited to represent my school in a meeting with other teachers, and I was elected as a school feeding council member. I started in 2014. I've worked to make sure that there is a good quality of school meals in our municipality. I've learned a lot in each one of the actions by the CAE. We don't become council members out of the blue. We need actions, and actions takes place in every movement. We follow up of the national program, in every visit to schools, and conversations with the execution agents and the groups we are part of. So we become council members, and we will have the possibility of undertaking our commitment as a citizen in following up all these actions in the society. Today, besides a council member, I'm also a council member in food security and nutrition, which is also I'm also a member of some social movements addressing these. Basic primary education, that they have the right to access quality school meals. Paulo Souza. Hi, I'm Paulo Souza. I'm the chair of the school feeding board in the Moju in Pará. Speaking on behalf of the group of board members, and to discuss our experience and the contribution of the PNAE, the National School Feeding Program, which is our guiding light at supporting us throughout the implementation of the law. But for you, have to find and show what you're doing. I mean, we share our goals, having food every day, and having the right amount, the right quantity and quality of food for our students. When we visit a school, children enjoy their meals. I have some testimonials that they love their school meals. We have a huge territory. We have to cover a huge territory. The food, sometimes food takes 4 days to reach destinations. We have quilombolas in the various rivers, indigenous peoples, rural areas. So that follow-up, it's very important for the board. But we also we need a right place to work with the computers and furnitures, everything, all that will facilitate our responsibility. So I'd like to thank Paulo and Sandra sharing their information, the importance of the PNAE, the National School Feeding Program. And Fernanda, we will continue to have a much stronger CAE with greater involvement in our program. So let's move on. Now, we'll talk about the law, the school feeding law, the National School Feeding Program with the Karine Santos. Please, Karine, you are recognized. Hi, and good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say that this is a matter of pride of being a part of FNDE dealing with the school meals. On behalf of Fernanda Paco Baiba, let me greet the authorities and the countries involved in this. Like Fernanda said, it's an honor to be here to talk to our partners and other countries, sharing our goals, which is the implementation of public policies that will make a difference in our society. I'll be sharing my mission, but our chair and Nashla have already paved the way to my presentation. But let me talk about the structure, about the developments of this law. This is a 2009 law, which arises from a provisional regulation signed by President Lula da Silva, which is the articulation of civil society and the government at all levels. So we have the National Board of Food Security, which was reinstated in 2023 by President Lula. Those are our guidelines. Because our coordinator, our chair, already explained that. Let me strengthen them. The universal care, given the importance for all students in primary education, have their due care. The effort of the country working with us in Latin America and Africa to offer this universal care, because governments are trying to expand their school meals program. This is not an easy thing to do. This is not an easy thing to do.
Que foi aqui a partir da fala da presidente Fernanda do lançamento do nosso prêmio.
It's also important to highlight that we want to strengthen social cohesion. We have just heard Professor Paulo and Sandra, and these are the policies and programs that can be conducted at a local level in order to make sure that school meals is provided with the best possible quality, promoting family farming, so that by at least 30%, which is mandatory and which is already in the law, supporting the sustainable development and family farming. These percentages that are guaranteed to family farming are important. At the beginning, it was very low, 8 or 10% in terms of public procurement, but with the latest 2022 data, that represents 45% of the procurement of products from family farmers, and that the progress of family farming reflects that we work in a coordinated manner there are several ministries that work with us, MDF, the Ministry of Health, and so on, and with some national entities, with states and municipalities that conduct and promote this program with family farming. I would like to highlight the importance of intersectorial work and the coordination that we conduct in order to be successful and support family farming. We need to work also with the prevention of diseases. That is a very important aspect, so that we can ensure the quality and the health of our students. This nutritional security is a pillar of a law, a guiding principle. And I would like to highlight that these are the actions that we conduct. And this is done by many public schools in Brazil. And today we are holding the 6th campaign, which becomes a permanent action by the FNDE together with the whole public sector, and highlighting the human right to food and to adequate nutrition. And here I would like to highlight what it is that we are able to provide at a school level. And this forms part of the school meals regulations based on human rights. And we must provide quality food in accordance with the guidelines developed by the ministry for children as a whole, and especially for children under the age of 2. And therefore, we have made many important a lot of progress. These are the 4 latest changes in our law. In 2014, Brazil understood that it was very important to cater for the needs of our students, the food needs of our students, and the special menus that have to be developed thinking about those students. And that was in 2014. In 2020, at that time, considering the catastrophe that we faced, we understood that it was possible to make the provision of that food much more flexible, based on kits that were provided to students, despite the fact that schools were closed, and food was very important within that context of the pandemic. And other colleagues, other countries from Latin America also developed joint agendas with us so that we could have that collective development and that alternative. And the last 2 adaptations of the law, which is 14660, mentioned by President Fernanda, that highlights the formal work of women. In accordance with the last demographic census, at least 50.4% is a service provided by women, and it is very important to have a policy that deals with that gender aspect. And we have law 14,734 that deals with the strengthening of the structure of the school meals councils, and which will be 30 years old in 2024. I would also like to mention that the FNDE last year published this, expanding the participation of traditional communities in the sale of food, providing the need to do away with bureaucracy in this sense. So we work here in Brazil with a registry of producers, and that producers relates agricultural products with indigenous populations, and also with the consulting committee on family farming. We were able to re-establish this committee, and this is a committee that enters into a dialogue with the government at all levels, so that we can think about the improvements that can be introduced into the program, and also the regulations of of the law on women that seeks to strengthen women, and we must also build, adapt, and improve the National School Meals Program. And I would also like to mention Decree 11,821, published in December 2023, that forms part of a technical cooperation agreement by the Ministry of Health, MDF, MDA. And through that decree, President Lula sought to implement the main objectives and strategic pillars for the promotion of adequate and healthy food in all schools. And that means that it is not only restricted to what the program provides, but to the whole architecture. To conclude, I would like to show you this photograph of our program. In general terms, in our discussions and dialogues, we use this slide when we initiate our discussions, because these are the main figures of our school meals program. These are very impressive figures, 5.5 billion reales that are transferred to local authorities. We have more than 5,570 municipalities or local authority, and this scenario, this data, these figures exist because we have a solid law that is being implemented by several stakeholders in Brazil. And to conclude, I would like to say that our law has to be known, and it is our role as government to bring this law to the fore, the National School Meals Program, so that all students may be able to understand that they have a guaranteed right, a legal right, and this law has to be implemented from the federal government and including local authorities and also states in the best possible manner. It must be protected also by civil society because of through their social participation. And the last word, the protection of the law, refers to the award that President Fernanda has just launched. I would like to thank you all and wish you a very successful event. Thank you, Naila. You have the floor. Thank you, Karine. This has really been a tremendous lesson for us all. Viewing this data, that makes a difference for us. International cooperation, the national food program for countries participating in this. Well, we have all learned enormously from the progress made by Brazil. I would also like to say that with regards to the award, the FNDE will continue with its guidelines and its education. We cannot thus be concerned with that because information will be shared with you. In that sense, I would also like to say that this program has a tremendous scope. It is a wide-ranging program, and we will listen to representatives from several sectors here, from practically all the stakeholders that are linked to the National School Meals Program. But when we have brought in representations from government or from international entities from different countries, and we have heard them, and that is why we will be holding a panel that enables us to listen to contributions related to the Brazilian School Meals Program within the national and international context. And for that purpose, I would like to invite all those that are present here to know and to identify, because you will speak in the order in which I will summon you. And since there are many of you, let's see, we agreed that you would all have 5 minutes to deliver your presentation. But I apologize as from now, because for this to be a speedy and objective event, we must comply with the time that has been allocated to us. So I'll read all the names and subsequently I'll offer the floor to Marcos de Sousa Herrera. He is the chief auditor of the Institute of Specialized Audits in Transfers of the federal government, Jonas Marcondes de Lira. After that, we will listen to Mr. Plinio Pereira, who is our companion from ABC, from the Brazilian Cooperation Agency. And he also works with South-South Technical Cooperation. He is in charge of this Brazilian Cooperation Agency. We will also listen to our dear representative from the FAO, Maya Takagi, who is the regional officer of our program. And also listening to the representatives of different entities, we will listen to our dear Daniel Balaban. He has a lot to say about our school meals law, and he is the director of the Center of Excellence Against Hunger of the World Food Program in Brazil. And subsequently, finally, but no less important, we will listen to two countries, one from Latin America and another one from the Caribbean, the Dominican Republic, represented by Ana Carolina Baez Abbott. And we will also listen to Dr. Montoya, who will talk on behalf of the national program. He is a coordinator of the National School Meals and Health Program of Sao Tome. So 5 minutes to each one of you. First of all, I'd like to offer the floor then to Dr. Jonas. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me well? Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation, first of all. Now, with regards to school meals, we would like to say to you that this is a key aspect of this public policy. And not only in Brazil, but throughout the country, or in all countries of the world, we believe that this is a public policy that must be prioritized over and above other policies. In actual fact, education is the mother of all policies. And based on that, all the others can be successful.
School feeding, we believe, is the ground zero. I mean, the foundation. I mean, without decent food for our children, this wouldn't be possible, because we believe that all the education initiatives cannot reach excellence without adequate food. So control agencies in Brazil have sponsored and supported a much closer view to these topics. We've tried to get closer to the national school feeding program, trying to understand the problems and bottlenecks in this national program. We've discussed to the FNDE as part of a collaboration context to address the main issues faced by this program. We are now at the execution phase. We're working on the program, and we hope this work will be successful, since the proposal has to do with many of our expectations and the potential outcomes. And I do believe that, I mean, I don't know if this has been 5 minutes already, but let me say in summary that we consider this national program. It's an excellent policy. Our control agencies are aware of this and aware of the importance of this plan and how this is implemented in our country. And we are always ready to help as much as we can.
Muitíssimo obrigada, Dr. Jonas. Dr. Jonas Marcondes de Lira, aqui falando pelo TCU.
Thank you, Dr. Marcondes de Lira. Now we will listen to Plinio Pereira. He's with ABC. Thank you, Nashla. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Before addressing this session, let me talk about the law, but first let me greet the FNDE Fernanda Paco Bahiba and the students and the Brazilian society. Let me commend you for this 15 years of this law. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs feels that it is a great honor to be part of this story full of challenges, struggles, and successful outcome. The trilateral South-South-South cooperation has pushed for several associations to have a sustainable development in developing countries. And we have been recognized in the implementation of 2030 agenda with the critical role to reach zero hunger. Thus, school meals is considered as strategic since it contributes with a multidimensional intersectoral approach to food security and nutrition. School meals in Brazil includes all the dimensions of food security and nutrition, availability, access, consumption, and permanence of food, because they are available and you can gain access to them on a daily basis, more than once a day, actually, to feed boys, girls, teenagers, adults, and senior population actually attending schools in Brazil. The reasons for this technical cooperation arranged with the ABC, the FNDE. It's the Brazilian organization from the technical and financial point of view that has, and of course, FAO and the Global Food Program, the strengthening of the national capabilities, the promotion of strategic associations, and the consolidation and strengthening of policies and programs or school meals in the global south, especially Latin America, the Caribbean, and Africa. The significant developments are undeniable, given the coverage and application of school meal programs in the last decade. But the progress of these programs in multiple countries around the world opposes the world insecurity condition, which has grown in the last few years, reaching alarming numbers. The FAO report in 2023, the Food Security and Nutrition report, says that nearly 700 million people around the world have been affected by hunger in 2022. Science considers that before 2030, 600 million people will have a chronic malnutrition. And given this scenario, countries have to work together to share knowledge and coordinate strategies to reestablish and improve school meals programs. Thanks to South-South cooperation. Brazil today is chairing, along with France and Finland, the Coalition for School Meals and PMA as a result of a United Nations summit in 2021. Before 2030, every child should receive a healthy and nutritious food ration. Besides this sustainable network, the Sustainable School Feeding Network, RAES, supported by FAO, according to the Decade of the United Nations for Nutrition, has been a strategic component of cooperation to move forward with these school meals programs in Latin America and the Caribbean by sharing experiences, knowledge, and best practices in the region. More recently, our Ambassador Rui Pereira just emphasized that by joining this coalition, Brazil contributes with a specific experience in articulating with other Latin American and Caribbean countries in the implementation of these sustainable school meals programs, which is a great advantage for our participation in this coalition. All these developments were only possible with the law of school meals, school feeding, passed in 2009. In terms of nutritious and adequate meals for the Brazilian society. This has been a benchmark for many other countries in the region. Let me share with you the our ambassador Pereira's remarks in terms of the importance of institutionalizing the national national school feeding program. Thank you very much. Thank you, Plinio, and everyone for your contribution on behalf of FNDE and for everyone. These commendations are for everyone. Now let's recognize Maja Takagi. She's the FAO of Regional Officer. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great honor to be here with you today on such an important topic. We're commemorating, celebrating the 15 years of school feeding law. I was also part of that process before joining FAO, so it's really important. I'd like to greet and commend the FNDE, those that are in the session today, those in the YouTube channel. Let me commend Brazil for this celebration, the passing, the enacting of the law, and that guarantees the rights of boys and girls in schools. This is a universal policy that guarantees the right to food and education, of course, because both work or act hand in hand. So let me focus on how this law is inspiring many countries around the world, not only in the region. We have 6 countries in the region besides Brazil. We have specific laws inspired by Brazil. We have the same thing in Bolivia, Paraguay, Panama, Chile, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, and this is a work at the macro level, including FAO and many other agencies working actively on this topic. I'd like to thank the Brazil FAO cooperation that since 2009 have been working on the sustainable school feeding network, as referred to by Plinio, and would like to renew this 4-year cycle, and I'm willing to support this agenda to strengthen public policies on school feeding, as discussed before, and all the legislative agenda, as well as a school feeding agenda, as well as to reduce waste in school feeding. Last year, we made a report on how many countries are receiving the support. We have several municipalities, 36 millions 36 million people receiving the benefits. And also through this network, promoting the strengthening and the guidelines to enhance the value of these food rations. So I would like to analyze the school budget or the country's budgets for school feeding. Brazil is a great example of how the universal coverage in the school meals. We like to guarantee school feeding, and let me address the benefits in Brazil with the help of FAO and the evidence finding of the school feeding programs, so local procurement, such as in 2020, we published a study on the impact. Guatemala and Honduras, besides Brazil, showed evidence that the changes made in school feeding by adopting adequate and healthy meals, as well as culturally recognized meals, to work with local procurement. We can achieve a better quality meals for students. We can promote diversification of food to fight poor diversification. The calorie contribution of 5 products, but we need more fruits, legumes, and vegetables, not only in Brazil, but also in the whole region. This is something that should be applied everywhere so as to contribute as a teaching element in order to keep and protect our biological diversity globally. Let me emphasize the link between the promotion of school feeding and the local family farming. We need to promote a varied consumption of meats, dairy products, of fruits and vegetables, and to supplement school feeding with what we call the re-strengthening of the local economic movement. School feedings will make a contribution not only to education, but has an important impact on our territory.
Finally, there is also an important element in terms of the decentralization of policies. And through that decentralization, we achieve a greater participation and a greater degree of responsibility by local stakeholders. And there's generally a major consensus there in terms of school meals. And this is an important example of that decentralization process. A greater participation, social control, and a greater empowerment for our local stakeholders, and also greater capacity in order to improve public policies at all levels. I would again like to thank you for the possibility of being with you here, and on behalf of the FAO, so that we can continue along this road of tremendous successes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Maya Takagi. We also thank that association with the FAO, and we would like to also thank the whole FAO team, technicians and officers who have helped us during all these years of cooperation, especially with making themselves available for this food system. Now we'll offer the floor to Daniel Banaban, who is the president of the FNDE has a lot to share with us. He will only have 5 minutes, but this reveals the opportunity of working together, and he works at the Excellence Center of Excellence Against Hunger. And we thank you very much. I thank Fernanda, President Fernanda. Angela, I think yesterday talked about the process for the approval of the school meals program. It was difficult to implement this. President Lula's idea was to create a law because such an important program should have an effective legislation and should also have continuity over the years. Any government in office should continue this. And so this wasn't an easy process. Today, everyone says, well, how could someone not approve this bill to expand school meals to high school? And so this was a law that expanded this not only to education for children, but there were many deputies that were against this because they felt that Brazil did not have the capability to expand the school meals program, especially the capability to involve family farming that capable of providing 30% of the food. And we also had to prove that family farmers existed. The Ministry of Agriculture and other institutions brought that to the fore. And I have received deputies and senators who argued that we lacked the conditions to do that, but I also contacted the municipalities that evidenced the different family farmers in their locations. So they started to understand that family farmers had the ability to promote and to form part of this program. Now we have a provisional measure in place. We were about to begin the school year, and via this provisional measure, the law was able to be implemented. This took 6 months, and it was finally approved by Congress. So it's important to say that this very important law underwent a major discussion. Many had doubts, but with the figures mentioned by Karine, well, that reveals that it was a very successful and beneficial program for our country, which actually was an example for many countries of the world. Here in Latin America, together with the FAO, we have several countries that are already creating school meals programs. And in Africa, we have more than 30 countries that already possess a school meals policy, and many of them received the support of Brazil in order to create those policies. And together with the FAO and the World Food Programme and all international entities. That is all very important to reveal that public policies are the future of a nation. We must make things happen and believe that this will happen. And that was the result of something that was very bold at that time. And now we are celebrating 15 years of this law that has received many awards. And Brazil has become an example for many countries of the world because it was bold. Now we have a law for procurement from family farmers, and that is very important. Today, the UN believes that family farming and local procurement reveals the importance of making the production of family farming much more productive and to bolster the agriculture in each country. And therefore, we believe that Brazil is an example that should be followed by many countries of the world because this involves a policy that was questioned and that was also very disseminated and that today has acquired a great strength throughout the world. And that is why Brazil is one of the presidents of the coalition of school meals, because everyone wants to know how Brazil was able to create something so beautiful and so successful. It is important for Brazilian citizens to defend these public policy of school meals, and therefore policies were not made for governments, but rather to favor our population, and therefore school meals councils are tremendously important in order to defend those policies in every region of our country and to make these policies work adequately in every region and in every municipality in our country. So I'm very happy to be here, and I congratulate everyone. I congratulate the FNDE group for this event. And in 15 years' time, we will be celebrating 30 years of this law. And there we will have 100% of our procurement from a family farming in Brazil. And that will be one of the major examples of school meals, of the school meals program in the world. Thank you very much, everyone. We thank you, Dr. Daniel. We have literally held struggles, but we are now enjoying our law, and it is a tremendous pleasure for me, or tremendously gratifying for me, to listen to your words. And now we'll listen to Carolina Baez, who is the coordinator of the National School Meals Program in the Dominican Republic. I would like to thank all the institutions that accompany us, all the persons that have given us the school meals program throughout the world. And on behalf of the 26 countries that form part of the Sustainable School Meals Network, I would like to thank the invitation to us to participate in this important event where we celebrate a law that has acted as a model and an inspiration for all our countries. Indeed, the Brazilian legislation has established the foundations for the comprehensive nature with which school meals have to be implemented. And as from 2009, within the framework of cooperation together with the Brazilian Cooperation Agency, FNDE, and the FAO, to support countries in Latin America and the Caribbean with the program to strengthen school meals programs. And thus, they have contributed to food security, to the reduction of hunger, and to more sustainable food systems. In actual fact, we have obtained many lessons over the past few years. We have exchanged experience, we have received technical support courses, diploma courses, but above all, we have been able to become aware that there are many things that are possible in our countries. And in our case, in the case of the Dominican Republic and in our school meals program, the reduction of sugar in the program, the inclusion of fresh fruit was a dream, and yet it has now become a reality. And within the same framework, since roughly a year ago, INABI, together with the FAO and the Parliamentary Front Against Hunger, promoted this school meals and nutrition program and presented that to our Chamber of Deputies, and that is presently being reviewed. This is a tool that seeks to strengthen as a public policy and to guarantee this right to all school children and to the educational community. At the same time, it is worthwhile highlighting that the Brazilian legislation, as my predecessors have mentioned, has acted as an inspiration for 6 school meals laws that are already implemented: Bolivia, Paraguay, Honduras, Guatemala, Ecuador, Panama, and Chile, that is also working on this, and likewise El Salvador, and our own country. These laws envisage aspects that are tremendously important, and not only the provision of healthy, safe and quality products adequate for the target population, but so that that provision of food may be accompanied by food and nutrition education courses that will establish more healthy and sustainable lifestyles. It also seeks to guarantee that link with family farming, with small producers, and in consequence guaranteeing not only fresher products at a lower price, but also the growth of those locations and the and the fact that that population is able to remain in their own territories. At the end of the day, the Brazilian legislation as a model, we could say, is translated into health guarantees and sustainability guarantees and a circular economy for our countries. On behalf of the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean, we want to express our deepest gratitude to Brazil, to ABC, to FNDE, to the FAO, both regional and to the Dominican Republic team, because they have they have provided us with great support over the past 15 years in terms of strengthening our program and in the food security of our countries. So thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Ana Baese, for your support and for everything that you have done in order to strengthen international cooperation and school meals. It is very important to remember that Law 11,147 has to do with the supply of healthy food and also related to food education initiatives. In some cases, 50% of the resources are devoted to procurement from family farmers. And I would say that these actions are very, very similar in terms of the organization of social participation, in terms of seeking decentralization and of all the components related or linked to our law. It's a great pleasure to evidence that they are already being implemented in other countries and that Brazil has been the inspiring force behind that work. We will now listen to our colleague from Sao Tome and Principe, coordinator of the National School Meals and School Health. Emmanuel Montoya. Thank you very much.
Good evening, or good afternoon, or maybe good day, good morning, depending on the country you are. First, let me thank you for the invitation, which is an honor for us to attend. Thank you. Speaking of school feeding in Sao Tome and Principe, school feeding in our country started back in 1976, 1 year after our independence. We were independent, became independent in 1975. And since then, and until from there to 2002, school feeding was managed by the World School Feeding Program. But in 2010, our government was instructed that these would stop. So our government in Sao Tome undertook this responsibility, trying to set a program as the world food program left our country. We started to implement our own program between 2012 and 2015. However, with the support of the Brazilian government and the World Food Program, we passed the first law, which the national meals and health at school. But our government became aware that it was necessary to enhance this program. Thus, we requested the support from the Brazilian cooperation agency. So we implemented a trilateral project, the South Cooperation Brazil, FAO, and Sao Tome and Principe. Thus, the project to strengthen the school feeding programs in Africa. This project lasted for 18 months with three main axes. So one of them was to implement the regulations of the 2002 law to strengthen the competencies in terms of education, nutritional, and school meals, and communications and the visibility of the program. It is true, though, that what it is, the program today for school meals and school health has to do with the support we're receiving from Brazilian Cooperation Agency. The experience we have comes from Brazil, which we believe has probably one of the best and the greatest school feeding program. Our program covers 25% of the population in Sao Tome and Principe. 50,000 boys and girls are served by our program, which is a universal program. That is, from preschool all the way up to primary school, our boys and girls have a guaranteed hot meal every day. During this project, a study was conducted to map the possibility of the use of local products for school feeding. And there was a report on this program of school feeding and health in our country to see whether we could pass a law which was enacted in 2023, setting sustainability of school feeding program. It offers tools that will make our program to be sustainable, and that thanks to the Brazilian Cooperation Agency, the ABC, which is an honor for us to be the recipient of it. And as a result of that, after this pandemic period, now including all the Portuguese-speaking countries, these association with the support from the Center of Excellence Against Hunger and FNDE and the ABC, we held 3 online meetings to discuss nutrition, school feeding, and local agriculture, and the monitoring and assessment of it. So, since we implemented our program until today, we've always had the Brazilian cooperation support, and we hope this will continue to be so. And thank you for your attention. I'd like to thank Dr. Montoya. We understand that the Center of Excellence Against the Hunger and FAO, we know we are just the articulators of this exchange and this sharing of experiences from our Brazilian government. And I agree with you. It is really important to keep this cooperation running, to keep the dialogue going, and to learn together so as to push and drive our programs. I'd like to thank a very important participation by Deputy João, is a current chair of the mixed parliamentary front against hunger. This parliamentary front, way before 2009, and with the representative Nazareno, has followed this construction, enactment, implementation of the law. On behalf of Representative João, I'd like to say that the parliamentary front was and will continue to be very important in our process. And the parliamentary front, together with the government of Spain and FAO, have always provide access to the regulatory and institutional debate on school feeding. We'd like to thank the support from the teams, our colleagues in other areas, helping countries to rethink their legislation and to keep the dialogue going, which is so important. I'd like to thank then all these people working so successfully. And I'd like to have now our coordinator of social control support, Renata Mainenti, to offer her remarks to summarize this link, the law, the CAE award, and I'm sure that there will always be a great connection. And last but not least, our director of DIRAE, so as to close the meeting. So Renata, you're recognized. Thank you, Nashla. Good afternoon, everyone in the session. Attending this celebration, such an important commemoration with such an important stakeholders. I'd like to thank FAO, the Center of Excellence, ABC, the Public Ministry, the representatives from Latin America and Sao Tome and Principe, which is a big network of international cooperation with so many countries involved. I'd like to thank Paulo and Sandra, our board members, council members, for their testimonials. It's a matter of pride. I would like to greet Fernanda, Anderson, the members of all the teams, because we're here together celebrating 15 years of this law, which has leapfrogged in the path of our school feeding programs in Brazil. We're celebrating 30 years of the CAE. The Council of School Feeding was implemented in 1994 when decentralizing the budgets for these type of programs. And thus, in the Constitution in 1988 and the re-democratization process, were all part of this. The existing relationship between the state and the society, which means an organized civil society and a more transparent and state with a more open to dialogue, strengthen a more participative democracy. This democracy requires more participation. And when dealing with public policies, this is not just follow-up or expenses, but the actual involvement with the proposal of improvements, to have access to the public agendas, experience sharing, articulating partners, to strengthen the dialogue among the public management and the actual the recipients of these benefits. So public management has to be understood as as part of these social dialogue in order to build public policies. Citizens, in our case, students and families and teachers, the whole school communities, these people have a great potential to monitor, to offer follow-up, to carry out improvements to these programs. So it's important for us to be here celebrating 15 years of this FNDE law and celebrating 30 years of the CAE, which was a big, huge development because that strengthened the role of social participation in designing public policies, which is so important. And being aware of all the challenges we have as a society, social participation, social engagement in the country and around the world, we know there are several social control practices in other countries that should be disseminated and known. So that's the role of the CAE award, recognition to the groups, access to students, value to disseminate these actions and to contribute so that they can inspire other councils and council members. So we ask everyone to help us in celebrating this CAE award, which is disseminating the importance of these council members. This is a year of celebration. This is important to offer more visibility to our work, to strengthen local engagement, and to support the growth of strong sea councils that will follow the example of the various public policies in Brazil and around the world as important social engagement mechanisms to achieve the goals of guaranteeing the rights of the population and the building of a more fair society. You can already sign in for this CAA award. All the CAAs can participate. This is for free, very easy to do. It says all we need is a story, which will be assessed by the members of the academia, which are part of our network, collaborating in school feeding programs. And I would like to thank for all their support. All that information, it's available in the website to access this CAE award. If you have questions, you can always call us or send us an email. And for us, will be an example of a policy, which means a dialogue with the society, and we want to continue to promote quality education, family farming in our country, and to promote access to food security and nutrition of our boys and girls and students of our country. And the social participation, social engagement always has to be one of our pillars. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank this interesting presentation, quite an illustrative presentation that
Então, estamos sendo ouvidos por bastante gente.
Will contribute to over 600 people participating in this discussion. I'm sure the platform will help in the dissemination of the CAA award. Thank you very much. And now let me say that FAO, when celebrating these 15 years of this law on school feeding, published last Sunday in Brazil, an article or paper in English, Portuguese, and Spanish will be made available in the YouTube chat. And this will be those countries with school feeding laws may adapt this law. And I'd like to thank the Sustainable School Feeding Network and the FAO platform is recording this event. We'll now offer the floor to Anderson Santos. So please, Anderson, you're recognized.
Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I am very happy to be here to celebrate these 15 years. I would like to congratulate everyone, and I would like to reflect on the passing of the PNAE law that enabled the tremendous progress of our program. Several speakers have mentioned this, and the most important mechanisms for the supervision of PNAE are our counselors, our school meals councils, and they are able to provide advice, to supervise, and they're also able to monitor the quality to make sure that the meals actually reach children. And this work was conducted in a national context, and also to improve these school meals programs. This has enabled us to recreate the histories of each country. These are all very strong tools. I would like to ratify the commitment of FNDE to improve this school meals program in a collaborative fashion, and I express my gratitude to Fernanda and to the whole team. I would like to thank all the collaborators and partners of the network that forms part of this very beautiful program. Thank you very much. We thank you for your warm words that summarize everything that we have done. I would like to say that perhaps that we will conclude this event on time as scheduled. I would also like to express that I'm very proud to form part of all this, and I would like to thank all those that are listening to us online. I would like to also thank our dear Maya Makaji, the representative of different organizations, and Manuel Montoya, and all the people that are here from different countries expressing their views, and Mr. Anderson, who also brought a perspective from the councils. This is a real success for our administration. It is also showing that our law has been important and successful, which is also supervised by our control entities and by other entities at a national level. I would also like to especially thank all our colleagues from the FAO, from Brazil, who have organized this event. I would like to thank the support of our technical leader, Israel Views, Mrs. Daniela Godoy, who is our leader in the best nutrition area at the FAO, who has permanently supported us in all our actions. And I would like to say to you that we thus conclude this session thanking the technical team that supported us with technology, interpretation, and so on. Everything that we have been able to do has been the result of many people, FNDE, FAO, ABC, Centers of Excellence, all those that help us have helped us to establish the flow of information. We have still a long way to go, as mentioned by Karina, so that the school meals law may be known not only in Brazil, but in the world as a whole, and so that each country may have or develop their own law so that they can make progress with specific school meals program, and also also to establish this collaboration in a decentralized manner in order to guarantee the human right to adequate food intake, and so that it can be protected by different mechanisms and control mechanisms by the CAEs, the school meals councils, that have been developed by many countries. So on behalf of NDE and on behalf of all our partners, I would like to conclude our event with a virtual warm hand for everyone. So wherever you are, please put a little heart there so that we can say goodbye with a warm applause, and we will also have take a group photograph. So please turn your cameras on. So a virtual applause, because we have this law. We've had this school meals law in Brazil since 2009. So please smile, switch your camera on, regardless of whether you're a speaker or not, because the interpreters can you please switch your cameras on as well, so that we can take the photograph.
Paulo, fale quando tiver ok.
Ok, Nádia.
Muito
Okay,
obrigada.
have you? Thank you very much, everyone. A warm hand for everyone. Thank you very much. I congratulate everyone.